I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test, part 435 or 45, while doing Pilatic leg training. And if you participate in the Pilatic leg training, that is at your own risk. To the first exercise, the Shishio-doshi. We bring one leg long out, and we're having a flexed foot, and we're tapping onto the floor, and we're lifting the leg again. Now, we already had done the, just for context, we are going through it all again. And now we're reading here what is happening on the test day. You will be given a locker. You will take the test using a computer provided by the test center. You will be allowed to run through a few practice questions so that you are familiar with the software, with the test software. Do not worry if you don't know the answers for the practice questions. These questions do not count towards your result. Just learn it all and do it all right, no matter. Each applicant's test is begun individually by the test supervisor, so your test will not begin until you say that you are ready. There have been several cases over the years of people trying to cheat in the test using methods ranging from the simple to the high tech. The test centers are wary of this. To be wary means to be either aware or to be on guard for it or so. Are wary of this. Do not be surprised if you are asked to put your collar down. I think a collar is missing. Or roll your sleeves up. No, that's that thing. And to show you are not hiding any equipment or trying to cheat. So, what was written here? The first thing is, that is happening on a computer. You can do some practice questions to get familiar with the software. These questions are not they are not being taken into account. Into account of the test result. We are doing since 2 minutes the first leg. We're changing. But rather make them more correctly. Not that you missed something and it was the actual test. But also not that you do them and think you have already done the test. So because here, each applicant's test is begun individually by the test supervisor. So your test will not begin until you say that you're ready. I don't know, you sit down and say you're ready, and then someone comes and says, let's go. There have been several cases of years of people trying to cheat. So don't cheat, basically, are telling us. And that something which could happen is that they're going to ask you to put your collar down or to roll your sleeves up. Maybe some people are hiding their simple to hiding materials. Sometimes it's just easier to learn. Once your test begins, you will have 45 minutes. There will be equipment allowing you to hear the questions and answers read to you. You can review and change your answers to the questions at any stage during the test. We will read that again after we have started the next exercise. Leg long out with flexed foot. That is the half hammer, and we're bringing it in, so we're bending it at the knee or leg. Once your test begins, you will have 45 minutes. So you're saying ready, and then the supervisor says, let's go, and then you have 45 minutes. There will be equipment allowing you to hear the questions and answers read to you. But you can you don't have to, can you just read them? Or is it, my question is it just for people who have problems hearing? Or is it, all? Okay. There will be equipment allowing you to hear the questions and answers read to you. Maybe there's a button, you can click on it, and then you can hear that all was written on the screen here. You can review and change your answer. I'm just wondering, for whom is that? Is it just for people with hearing difficulties? Or is it written for everyone because there's something which we haven't thought of? So you can review and change your answers to questions at any stage during the test. So you can go somehow back to the questions and look at them and then change also your answers. But I want to say here, that all done on a computer program sounds complicated. Maybe that's why you need 45 minutes to go back and forth and make the exercise somewhere else and all this stuff. Maybe that's going to take 45 minutes. So read the questions carefully and make it directly the first time correctly. If you but maybe use it to review it, the time. If you pass, we have changed the leg. If you pass, then you will be given a unique reference number. This is very important, as you will need this number to complete your citizenship or settlement application. The Home Office will use it to check that you have passed the test. So, next exercise, the hammerhead shark. One leg out with a bent knee and a flexed foot, and we bring it up and down. So you will be given a unique reference number, so you get a number, at some time when you have passed the test. And that number you will have to use if you're trying to make some citizenship or that settlement application. If you don't pass, you can take the test again. However, you will need to rebook and pay again and wait at least 7 days before retaking your test. You should not make an application for naturalizing as a British citizen or for indefinite leave to remain if you fail. You may need to apply for further leave to remain if your existing leave to remain has expired or is close to expiring. Okay, let's read the thing again. We're changing the leg. So if you don't pass the test, you can take it again. You have to rebook and pay again and wait 7 days. And you should not make an application for naturalizing as a British citizen or for indefinite leave to remain if you fail. So if you have failed, you should not try to become a British citizen or indefinite leave, because that is necessary that you have succeeded in the test. You may need to apply for further leave to remain if your existing leave to remain has expired or is close to expiring. I don't know what we're going to want to tell us. Has it anything to do with the test? If your leave to remain or your leave to remain is expiring, when it's expiring and you need to apply for further. I don't get it. So look at your leave to remain. And now the next exercise. One leg out with a flexed foot and we bring it to the side. And again. Share your experience. We are able to give you advice like this because of the hugely helpful feedback we have had from our readers. We read everything people write to us and use it all when we make new editions of this book every year. The more feedback we get, the better we can make this advice. So we want to hear about your experiences. So it's not the fault of Red Squirrel that this book is outdated and 13 years old, but the fault of Home Office. The people did pay taxes the last 13 years. So we want to hear about your experiences of a test. In particular, we want to hear what you think we did well or what we didn't do so well. I'm criticizing all the time. Basically everything is very well in this book. Was there a particular type of question you weren't expecting? Did one of our study aids really help you? Now, the other leg. Everything from a single thought to a detailed critique of every question in your test is useful. To send us feedback, scan the QR code below to visit www.lifeintheuk.net/feedback. Test preparation checklist. There are a lot of things that you need to remember to do for the Life in the UK test. Avoid problems and get organized by completing this checklist. Test appointment booked. You should make there. Whatever. Book your test through the Life in the UK test booking website. Test date, time, test center address, phone. Finished reading study materials. Reading, learning. Complete all practice studies. Complete all practice tests and study guide. They want that you buy the second book. Completed free online practice tests at www.lifeintheuk.net. Check latest tips and advice at www.lifeintheuk.net. And the last exercise of this leg exercise. Leg out, and what are we doing? We're tapping onto the floor, we bring it to the outside, and tapping again onto the floor, and again in, and tapping. Check latest tips and advice at lifeintheuk.net. Just learn. Check your registered details exactly match your photo ID. You should do it when you register them. Or when you book the test. Confirm test center's location and travel route. Yes, you have to travel also. Chapter 2. No, but we are back where we were. Are we reading this time with? So, Chapter 2, the Values and Principles of the UK. Other leg, tapping onto the floor, or down to the outside, tapping. In this chapter, you will learn about the fundamental rights and responsibilities which is... Did you not have it? Okay. You will learn about the fundamental rights and responsibilities which apply to everyone who lives in the UK, citizen or not. There's also some information about the format. I think we had it. We had done that. Then we had that and that. Yes, that thing here. You need to pass the Life in UK test to become a permanent resident or a naturalized citizen. And you have to produce acceptable evidence of speaking and listening skills in English at B1 of the Common European Framework of Reference. This is equivalent to ESOL entry level 3. That means you have to take another test, a part of this test. Because after reading all that and doing a test in English, no one knows if you can speak English. That is a mystery. Taking the Life in UK test, we have it all. Okay, we have it all. Then Chapter 3. What is the UK? In this chapter, you will learn about the countries that make up the Union as well as the various phrases. Now in 4 seconds, we're going to start a 3.5 minutes plank. And starting. And be rather to high up with the back than to low, and tuck the tailbone in. So, in this chapter, you will learn about the countries that make up the Union as well as the various phrases used to describe them. Although this chapter is... That did we read? Although this chapter is very short, you should make sure that you read and understand all the facts presented. For instance, it is very likely there will be questions about the difference between Great Britain, the British Isles, and Britain, or what the crown dependencies are. Okay. Now that is Britain. Well, the big four are England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. The official name is United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Great Britain refers only to England, Scotland and Wales, not to Northern Ireland. The words Britain, British Isles and British all for all. So British Isles, I never use the term. So British Isles also means all. British Isles. In the UK, then yes. The Channel Islands and the Isle of Man are the crown dependencies. So if you ask, what are the crown dependencies? These are the Channel Island and the Isle of Man. Then there are several British overseas territories, for example, St. Helena and the Falkland Islands. The Parliament is in Westminster. There we had with Westminster. And Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland have their own parliament, have an additional parliament, or assemblies of their own, with devolved powers in defined areas. Also have parliaments. Okay. A long and illustrious history. Page 11 must it be. In this chapter, you will learn about British history, starting from the Stone Age. The beginning focuses on arriving populations which affected the language and religions of Britain. After it, focuses on the development of monarchy, church and parliament. Major battles and significant periods are covered, including the Civil War, the Industrial Revolution and the Empire. There's a lot of information about the First and Second World Wars, and after the Second World War, the chapter focuses on the governments of the UK and devolution in Northern Ireland, Wales and Scotland. Make sure that you understand the relationships between the monarchy and parliament, Protestants and Catholics, and Britain and the colonies of the Empire. They did not tell me that much about that. Think about how the right to vote developed. You should also make sure you know about each of the people described. You will need to know about Acts of Parliament and other major events. In this chapter, there's information about the history of early Britain, the Middle Ages, the Tudor and Stuart monarchs, the establishment of Parliament, the unification of the United Kingdom, the Enlightenment and Industrial Revolution, the Victorian Age and the British Empire, the First World War, the Great Depression, the Second World War, Britain since 1945 and the welfare state, Great British inventions and sporting figures, government since the Second World War. Early Britain again. We're not going to start with that. 10 seconds. Three, 2, 1, and that was it. So we will just continue on the next part of going page by page through the whole book and look if we know it all. There are still some things which we have to learn. So Commonwealth countries and some other things. But mostly we will just continue with what we just did. We were going page to page to page just for the whole book. I don't really know who I'm talking to new people or to people for the whole thing. I thank you very much and until next time.